So another safety concern that was addressed in the wiring rules, and that's to do with power outages in the case of a disaster. So what exactly was included and why?
We had a lady representative from New Zealand, and she's from Consumer Advocate. I think she's from the Council of Elders or something out of New Zealand. And her legacy, I guess, is she was quite adamant that we never anywhere put a statement to say, if there's a natural disaster, how do you make sure that the power supply is still providing what you need for aged, infirm, the elderly, and so on. That's aged and infirm. But so she put that forward to the committee, and initially it was taken with a bit of, man, how do you do that? So what we ended up doing is putting in a risk statement, not a risk statement, sorry, information in a sort of a motherhood capacity to say that you should consider what goes on with natural disasters. And man, I don't know if climate change exists, but things are really strange at the moment in our, in environment, and natural disasters seem to be around every corner. And so all we're asking here is that it's something that probably a good consultant would think about, but you've got to take it to the next level. So your installers, if they're doing a design and construct, and they're doing an aged care facility, instead of just putting electric doors in there, maybe think about how do those doors open if there is a problem, we lose power, how do we get these people out of here, how does the lighting cope with it. So that was really the basis of that whole thing, was to provide just a bit of provoking statement that they could work with. So certainly not mandatory, but it is something that everyone should be considering nowadays.
Yeah, there's also a bit of a shift in care arrangements for people, the desire to keep people in their own homes as long as possible.
Yeah,
so if you've got someone that has medical devices that require a supply to be available for their own life safety, then you need to think about it.
And there's interesting future things with the number of solar installations in houses that a standalone solar, or a solar installation without a battery will only work if there's a supply available. So if supply fails, even though your solar panel can be generating, it won't work. And there is consideration of how could that be changed so that you could have your solar panel actually providing some limited power. And that's being considered at the moment with the power walls and battery integrated solutions. You can get solutions where they can be, you can island them and you can have a self-contained, your house can still run off your battery and your solar panels. So that gives you power when there is a natural disaster, because South Australia did have 2 transmission lines blow over at one stage and ended up with a blackout. Yeah.
It was a dark day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah. So there is, that's a future thing that is a topic of discussion at the moment, is how to utilise the fact that we've got all this generation in people's houses now, and often you can't get at it. I mean, how to actually make that accessible when there is a disaster situation.
And I guess this kind of brings us around to Appendix M of the wiring rules. So what exactly is included in that?
Oh, that is basically the statement about foreseeable conditions that could arise through national disaster. So that is the statement as its general information. I think at the start of the book in section 1, we do actually, part 1, we do refer to that risk mitigation because of natural disasters, but we don't go into it too much. But it's now, there's something in the back of the book that can help you. It's interesting that IEC are moving, the international electrical movement is actually looking at risk mitigation now for natural disaster, and that's becoming part of installation rules. same as energy efficiency and stuff. So these are the things that aren't actual electrical safety, but they're things that should be considered about an installation that has electricity. Yeah.